Hello, friends. Welcome to the Dirty Politics Show with your host, the Right Honorable Gentleman, name of Aladdin and Pirate. A lot is happening in this crazy world, and they're going to help y'all make heads from tales of it all. Now on to the show. We hope you do enjoy.
Hey, what is up, America? Hope y'all are doing well. Jalen, how you doing?
Doing good. Can't complain. You know, the weather's nice outside.
In Canada, I doubt it.
No, I mean it's summertime, baby. So it's the wintertime. The cold is over. The cold is over. So it's definitely nice out here. Can't complain. Had in a non-political video. Did a TikTok on Justin Timberlake, just kind of how people were kind of hating on now this and that, but he's still the man. And again, it's going a little viral here. Getting a lot of comments, getting a lot of shares.
Is it?
Yeah, just a lot of middle-aged woman and I guess millennials such as myself showing love. Be like, these kids don't know. And it's bad. People are acting like Justin Timberlake could never dance, could never do this. He ain't this and that. Like, dude's a living icon. Oh, I said it, like people really forget from the Mickey Mouse Club to NSYNC to a tremendous solo career in the 2000s up until about 2013. Dude was peaking.
So does he have like a new album, or you just?
Yeah, he dropped a new album about a few months ago. Obviously, like any artist in their 40s, not like for pop stars too. The peak doesn't remain. You know what I mean? Like he's not 2006 Justin Timberlake, 2010 Justin Timberlake anymore. He's
right. How old is he now?
He's a 43-year-old father of two, right? And there was a clip a couple months ago.
He's younger than me. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I think he's 43. Yeah, I mean, he can still judge me. He can still sing his ass off, dance well. Now, can he dance like he's 28 again? No, obviously it's a little slower. You know what I mean? He's not hitting it as hard, right? Mm-hmm. When you're 43 versus 29, I mean, dude can still sing, though, put on a show. Still an amazing concert. But yeah, there was just this clip where, where he was dancing. I think this was freestyle. And he just, he looked a little, in that particular clip, maybe he was tired or whatever. He looked 43 trying to dance and not that smooth, suave 28-year-old or 34-year-old, right? So, but that's something you got to remind people, like, he's still him. You know what I mean? Like he's him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got to be honest. He was a little bit after my time. I mean, like, I like that one song, "Cry Me a River."
Oh, a banger! Absolutely.
That's probably the only one I could actually name. Of him.
That's probably his most iconic song. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
That is yours. Yeah. You never took a listen to his 2020 experience?
Can't say that I have.
Okay, so
I mean, I may have heard like some songs in passing, but no.
Okay, so yeah, that came out in 2000 and I believe now was it 12 or 13? One of those times. It was 6 years after his Future Sex Love Sounds album. He came back, and that was a very like suit and tie. Remember the song? As long as I got my suit and tie, I'ma leave it all on the floor tonight. That was a banger. So basically, it was like if Frank Sinatra made an album in 2013 with a little swagger, it'd be that album. You might like it. It's like a Rat Pack, that old school vibe, like I
might, yeah. I can say that I've seen some clips of him like on Saturday Night Live, where he seemed like fairly charismatic. Seemed like he may have been like a decent actor if.
That acting career, I thought he had some decent roles. Never took off, I think, as much as he wanted to, but
yeah, he never really got into that, huh? Yeah. I feel like that could have been something that
I got
it. And then NSYNC. I just remember there was who was the guy who had like braids, like purple and blue braids.
I mean, not JC. Was that the Fitzpatrick? Was that Fitzpatrick?
I don't know, but yeah, that always turned me off.
And I always say Justin Timberlake was the first. He was kind of like one of the first guys to really pop it off as like a white boy with soul. We call it the blue eyed soul, right? Because he had a little edge.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, so Elvis. Yeah, Elvis was, you can say OG, but to me he couldn't really dance like he could dance, but not like Michael. You know what I mean? Like it was different.
I mean, could Justin Timberlake seriously dance like Michael Jackson though?
Like it was. Like you could tell he was a student of Michael Jackson.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Though he had that. You know what I mean? So I always say, he's that blue-eyed soul. And I mean, he worked with all the big, Pharrell, Timbaland's, all the major black producers for that.
Blue-eyed soul. Who are the top 5 white white
guys with that swagger?
with soul.
Soul like
I
that?
feel like there are a lot of guys with swagger, but specifically
soul.
specifically soul.
He made like pop
Yeah,
R&B music. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the music that people were accustomed to by a white pop star at the time, which is why I think he actually blew up.
I suppose that's fair enough. But I mean, at the same, see, he was part of that whole like boy band pop culture that I was. It seemed pretty manufactured. Like, wasn't he like a Disney kid? Like
Mickey Mouse Club. I think
Mickey Mouse Club, like
with like Britney Spears,
Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera,
right?
all them, right?
Yeah, and then he had the boy band. They became massive. But then that's the thing. He wanted to leave that stigma of the boy band making like that boy band type of music at the time, that bubble pop. So he went a team. You know, it's crazy. How his first album, Pharrell, obviously, Pharrell and the Neptunes, they basically ran music during that time. He goes to him. Pharrell had a whole album about like 6, 7, 8 songs that he wanted to give to Michael Jackson. But Michael's like, yo, this is sick, but I'm going another direction. So he went into another project, and guess who those songs went to? Justin Timberlake, Senorita, Rock Your Body. So you see those elements of Michael Jackson in there.
Yeah, but again, I think what probably turned a lot of people off was that whole like Disney, kind of feeling manufactured.
You know what? No, you know what? People hate him now.
That's what kind of turned me off.
They hate him for the Janet Jackson situation, and they felt like, and he made Britney Spears get an abortion. Apparently, that's the thing. So people just hate him for that. But
wait, what do you say about abortion?
No, he apparently persuaded or made Britney Spears get an abortion when they were dating at the time.
Oh, is that right?
People are just upset about it now because it came out in a book and all that.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about that. I guess I did kind of know that they were together. We got a double tech real quick in the crowd. We are in fascism. Oh, I think I remember this guy. This is the guy who's like very upset if people aren't on the left. Speaking of which, I've had a hell of a week. I've been hanging out with my old buddy Macron.
Okay.
Life of the party. I love this dude, man. All you gotta do is show up and he's got the night covered. What did you think here, just for anyone in the crowd who didn't see it? They're saying there was this video that came out. It looked like maybe during maybe.
I don't think he could be that stupid. I don't think he could be that stupid. I think.
Yeah, let's just check out the video. Now the mannerisms are a little questionable here.
Look, do I think he may have been on something?
He does have a guilty look there.
Look, do I think he may have been on? Yeah. Do I think he might have been on something? Yeah. Sure, I think without a doubt. Now, do I think him and his advisors or anybody would leave it on the table? That seems so stupid.
Well, that's what I'm. Honestly, what's the old saying with the parents? Like, if this is true, it's not that I'm angry; it's just more that I'm disappointed. Honestly, because I'd like to think. Let me just say this: if world leaders or high-level politicians are on cocaine, like I have very little doubt that that's true in many cases. Any specific case I wouldn't want to throw out because I don't know, but the fact that hey man, if you got money and power,
it's fairly
what I would be most disappointed in is if it's true is this ghetto ass little bindle that he's got, man. Back in my day, we had some pride, you had some nice, mother of pearl cases with 18 karat gold trim.
You got to keep that in the private room. You got to keep that in the private rooms. This is probably
and you got a little class. You would have some little self-contained kit. You wouldn't have. And this guy's walking around with a folded up envelope like he's a 14-year-old at a rave. Like that just it just seems below the president of France.
The packaging, not the actual substance.
Yeah, the packaging and the fact, and like you say, the fact that he would be so indiscreet to let in, I guess, the press, whoever has this camera into what's going on within. I guess it did look like a line cut up next to the dude.
It was something. What it is,
combine that with the Bindle, and Macron himself does seem like an eccentric guy. I definitely wouldn't.
Hey, he's not that old. He's still relatively young too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would not. I would not put it beyond him. And honestly, I mean, how can I phrase this? I don't want to get canceled or anything. But free.
Just say it. Just say it.
Free XYZ. Let me just say this, man. Everybody else had their moment with pushing for the cannabis to be legalized, and it worked. And I guess all I'm saying is, it doesn't have to stop at cannabis.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, I'm into personal liberty, as long as you're not hurting anybody. And then if you hurt someone, you get the boo, you get sent to jail. It's an easy process.
Hey, if that jail looks anything like New Zealand's jail or some like Norway's jail or something, it's not a bad deal. Have you seen
some of those places got nice jails?
Yeah, I was gonna say some of those jails are like better than legit homes people live in.
Hell yeah, man. Some of these countries, it looks like it's worthwhile to go try to break in the country, get caught as an illegal limit, send me to your prison.
I do think it was. I think Norway, their philosophy is, I guess they're a small country that can do this. It's really about rehabilitation and trying to get them help no matter what they do.
Yeah,
I think for the most part is good for most cases. Obviously, there's some like somebody who grapes and kills a child. Exactly. I don't know about rehabilitation in that sense, but
yeah, right. If I catch some guy, he's got like seven Boy Scouts under his rafters. I feel like rehabilitation is not the first thing.
100%. Yeah,
we're gonna be thinking about. That's actually. I mean, that's philosophically they said that's one of the most basic differences between if you find yourself on the left or the right. What do you think about prison? Is it mainly rehabilitation, or is it about
I mean, yeah, it just depends on, again, it's case by case situation. Look, if it's somebody who's stealing like it's like when you see people stealing eggs and bread and milk from the grocery store, like right. Probably not a thief is going through something, maybe they got kids, whatever the case is, versus somebody who is sexually assaulting someone, doing something really bad, or killing someone, whatever the case may be, right? So case by case.
Yeah, I tend to agree. You kind of cut a line between. I feel like violence is the biggest determination. Like, does your crime include unnecessary violence?
Yeah,
that did not have to exist.
It seems like when you remember, you hear the story of the robberies where the guy, like, he has a gun. He's like, "Give me your money." He's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm really desperate. I'm in a situation. Give me your money." But he's pointing a gun at him. I'm like, oh, clearly the guy is like clearly is sorry. Feels bad, but he also has a gun at him, so it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Tough little spot.
Well, yeah. I mean, the violence is the clearest thing, and then there's a lot of gray area too, where it's like people commit crime where it's like you really don't have to commit the crime. It's like very few crimes you have to.
100%,
especially in this day and age. 400 or 500 years ago, you might have been actually starving to death, but
true.
That's pretty rare for most people these days. But hey, let's get on with well, the title of the show is Trump a socialist after this week.
He's taking a playbook off of the British
people out in the crowd. This has been I feel like the Trump story, each weekly chapter is kind of a story unto itself. This last 7 days does seem to be he's actually pushed a fair amount of progressive ideas for the most part. So what are your thoughts?
So look, when it comes to his executive action on the price of drugs, making it a rule, essentially price control, making a rule that countries.
I don't entirely know if it's price control. If that's
so I mean, he basically it
is. I would say market manipulation.
Yeah, market manipulation. So basically, what he's saying is that the most you can price a drug in America is the lowest cost that is in any other country, right? There has to be essentially lowest in America, is what he's saying.
That's my general understanding. But I'm not entirely sure what the stick, the punishment is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what are you going to do? You just have to force them. It's a law.
Yeah,
so
or
Canada,
else what? Or what?
I think Canada, we have a rule, obviously not as frankly not as good as that, but ours is the average. So if a price is $300 in America, and let's say it's $100 in Switzerland, the most you can price it here is $200. It can't be higher than the average of the world.
Okay, or what? It's simply,
or you can't sell it.
It can't be sold.
You can't sell it. Yeah, you can't sell it in the marketplace, and there's so many competitors. Someone's else going to come in.
Okay, well, and I feel like I could see how that could be kind of practical. Now, if you go with just you have to sell it to me for the cheapest, or you can't sell it.
But
it seems to me like a lot of companies would be like, all right, fine.
But you know what it is? America is. I think America is. Maybe is America the largest consumer of pharmaceutical drugs of any country? I'm not sure. I'd imagine it'd be top 5.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, so I would imagine it'd be top 5. So any company, let's say there's 4 or 5 different company that sells a pill for, I don't know, let's say bronchitis, right? So the medication for whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Now, and let's say they're usually selling that price for $200, but now they have to sell it for $40 or $50, right? Because they sell that in Switzerland for that. If there's 4 or 5 different companies. If
somebody's going to sell in America,
exactly right, somebody's going to sell. Everyone's going to come. So I think that's brilliant because there's just too many companies. There's so much competition in pharmaceuticals now. So many companies who realize the amount of money in it, they get into it, and people realize how cheap it is produced. Because a lot of it is a lot of the manufacturing tends to be produced in a lot of these countries again with cheaper wages, things of that nature. So I don't think a company you would need, like you talked about market manipulation. You would need companies to literally get on the phone and be like, hey, 6 companies.
You need like crazy collusion among
exactly right. Yeah, which again,
actually.
It's too much money. I think they will lose based on the customer base that to pull out. So I think it should be beneficial, should be great. But this is the most socialist policy ever by a Republican. This is price. Bernie Sanders has literally been saying this for decades. He was called again. You know what? The argument against this whole concept of market manipulation.
You could maybe say, I don't know. You could maybe say the interstate highway. By
I guess
by Eisenhower.
But the argument for this always was by the Republicans. Oh, it takes away what do you call R&D? It takes away the growth. Yeah, it takes away companies want to grow or create new cures for diseases, whatever the case may be, or new medicines.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but look, I'm actually excited that it's being celebrated by a lot of people on the right. They put their political politics behind. There's a select few who are very much in the camp of we don't want any market manipulation or price control or anything like that. They want the market to dictate prices. But for the most part, I think this is going to be good for America.
No, like we were kind of discussing before, I feel like it's another. There are even a couple more things this week that happened. But look, Trump is not this hardline conservative. I feel like, and he never has been. And the absolute hate that he's gotten from the left this whole time. I feel like it's really odd because, like, honestly, he's not like a fundamental.
He's not Ted Cruz.
He's not a Ted Cruz. He's not. He's definitely not a libertarian. He's
not Ron Paul. He's not Ron Paul.
He's honestly but at the same time, I feel like the stuff that he does take from the left, it's not the worst stuff. So that kind of makes me happy, and I feel like it should in a perfect world, in a functioning government. I don't see why the Democrats don't. I feel like if the Democrats really wanted to sit down and work with Trump and really have a bipartisan government, I feel like we could get a lot of stuff done that a lot of people on the left and the right would be happy about.
Definitely could. I think too many bridges have been burned in some ways, because a lot of the stupid things that Trump, like if Trump never said the whole, like when, let's say the immigration thing where Mexico is sending its murderers and rapists and just kind of the whole demonization of that.
Okay, well,
he could have just said that in a more presidential way, and I think would have been fine. But also, no, hold on. It's also the Obama thing where the whole like be born in Kenya, this and that, all that nonsense with that. It's also like the tweets. Like he says that he does a lot of stupid things that take away from some of the good ideas that he has. And when someone just doesn't like you or doesn't like a lot of the stupid things you say, they'll tend to ignore the good policy stuff that you might actually agree on.
Well, that sounds like a horrible excuse for, you're in government, you're a representative. I feel like if I were a congressman or a senator, I feel like, I mean, wouldn't you would hope that these people are really taking ownership over the next 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, however long you're in office. You're like, all right, God damn it, this is my time to shine. I actually have a chance.
They should be adults and just kind of move on.
The trajectory of the country. And if you're going to be so petty as to be like, oh yeah, 7 years ago he said anyone could shoot him on, he could shoot someone on Main Street, and so because of that, I'm not going to work with the president of the. And like honestly, I watch all these lefty channels. Like they hate this administration so much. They are so dedicated to not working with him at all on anything. I feel like he could even come to them and say, like, what do you want? Let's do what you want. But, they would rather not see Trump get a W, in the eyes of the public, than to actually see.
The right to the same thing with Obama, though. And they openly admit it. We want to make sure this guy has the worst presidency ever. We're going to stop him every much, right? And really, and that polarization, and it really started there. Because again, before, I keep going back, look at these clips when Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr. were having a conversation. Everything was very cordial. It's like, we're friends. We just have slightly different policies, but they still had this common bond of
the Clinton administration before the Lewinsky stuff was the most bipartisan. Well, no, and to be fair, Reagan's administration was extremely bipartisan. For the majority of Reagan's administration, the House was democratically led, and it's famous, the relationship that Reagan had with Tip O'Neill.
Yeah,
was the guy in the Congress back then, the Democrat, and their ability to work together. But yeah, Reagan as the Republican president and Clinton as the Democratic president working with the Republican Congress. Those were by far the most bipartisan administrations of my lifetime.
I could see that. I think at those times too, people just agreed on more stuff. Now there's just
that, and I think, like, looking at it, I feel like how the filibuster is enacted has really gone kind of out of control over the last 15, 20 years. And so now it's really gotten to the point where Congress works on most things. You really need 60 Senate votes to pass something, where 50 just isn't enough.
I think Obama changed that, right, during his administration, where they took it down.
They changed it with Supreme Court appointments during Obama to where instead of 60, you just need 50.
You need 50, yeah.
Because it just, like, to an extent, I'm a fan of gridlock, but not if it's to where you just can't get anything done at all. Because at that point, it's like pointless voting in anybody, because you're not going to get what they campaigned on.
And to what you said, though, it's like the other side doesn't want the other side to have a W, no matter how good the idea is. Like Trump, Biden, whoever could say, I have the cure for Alzheimer's. Let's give it all for free. That could literally be the bill. But the other side, regardless of who was there, wouldn't vote for it because they don't want the other side giving that win. They'll find a problem.
No, and I really see it popping up. It's just egregious with a few of these Trump things, like the drug prices thing that seems like a slam dunk. The left should be like, if this were Bernie Sanders or any Democratic politician, I feel like they would just be lost.
It's the most leftist policy. It's
more the Trump the tariff deal with China. I feel like 5 years ago, or if this were a Democratic president saying the exact same things, they would just be falling in line.
I could see that. I think this, Trump's executive order to reduce cost of medicine and pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, it's more left wing than Obamacare. Obamacare, I always say, is the most right wing relative to the world, the most right wing healthcare plan ever. Right? It's the most right wing, quote unquote, universal healthcare plan. It's not universal.
Well, hold on, Jalen.
Very right wing. You know what?
The mandate was the big deal, and that was Trump got rid of that. But you got to. That's one of the things that pissed me the hell off with Obama. I had to pay money to not have health care. Each year, I was paying like $2,500 a year to not, because I didn't have health care. Is there a penalty?
Yeah, I don't.
There's not having health care.
There's some people who got hosed based on Obamacare. Like
totally hosed. Totally hosed.
Which is why I
totally
think
ridiculous.
The thing was, again, I think he said in an interview. I don't know if he talked about too much of people would always ask, why not single payer universal health care? Basically, there was just a hard line, even in the Democratic fraction, that didn't want to take that stance. Right. And he was worried he couldn't get it passed, even though he had 60. I think was it Ted Kennedy that passed away right after, or something happened too. Like when they got, I think he got 60. He had 60 right in 2008 when he first got elected, I believe so. And then someone passed away or something. Something happened where they had like 59.
I feel like McCain was like
no. That was in Trump. Talking about Obama in 08. I think it was Ted Kennedy. Was what the last Kennedy?
No, I'm saying in the Obama passing, didn't McCain's vote? I feel like McCain's vote was like.
No, I think all Republicans were against.
McCain's vote was huge.
That was Trump,
not overturning.
Not getting rid of it. And I'm talking about 08 when I think Obama and a lot of people in the circle wanted single payer, but people were worried in some, especially some of the states, how if they voted single payer, some people were still really against it or didn't want it. They thought it'd be too much government control, things of that nature. And again, it was Ted Kennedy that died, right? And that made him from 60 to 59 or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, something along those lines where it didn't happen. And people forget the structure of Obamacare came from Mitt Romney in the state of what's he the governor? Was Utah?
No.
Mitt Romney with Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, where it was. So that
he was a Mormon. He was a Mormon from Utah.
Yeah. So that plan was based on Mitt Romney's healthcare plan thing in Massachusetts or whatever he had going on there. Obamacare is more aligned with that than single payer healthcare. I think maybe the plan was to eventually try to get the single payer healthcare, but then
single payer healthcare in America is going to be real difficult, if not impossible, at least for 40, 50 years.
Yeah, I don't know how it works within a country with 350 million people or
exactly
400.
Because right? You see there are tons of problems in even countries with like 5 million, 10 million people.
I hear you, but
about 350.
The question is always where's the money going to come from, but you never ask the question when you want to drop a bomb on someone.
Not just where the money is going to come from, but how it affects the industry. It's just like education, man. It's just like a big reason why people like me and a lot of people want the state to stay out of education and college and school. It's not just because it's like where's the money going to come from? I don't want to pay for that. It's because of how it affects it over time, over 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, look at how expensive university has gotten now compared to where it was like 30, 40 years ago. It's way outpaced inflation.
I'm thinking of inflation real quick. I decided it's Whopper Wednesday, obviously, right? Wednesday. So I went to go get a Whopper, bought a Whopper for the first time in a while. It was like $7.80 for one Whopper. Like,
Burger King's prices are out of control.
I remember Whopper were like $2 for Whopper Wednesdays, right? That was the thing. It was like $2.50, $3.
No, I tell you, I just got some sushi off DoorDash earlier today, and every time I scan the prices of Burger King is out of control. Like down here, they want like, what do you say, $8?
For just a sandwich,
No, on DoorDash they want like $12 for a fucking
but DoorDash you're paying
just a sandwich. No, that's true. But even when you go into the restaurant, it's like $9-10 for a.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere, but it's especially Burger King.
That's interesting. Yeah.
For some reason, they've just become like the most expensive fast food.
Yeah, I mean, like McDonald's doesn't have their dollar menu anymore, but I mean, that wasn't going to last forever. Sadly, it's just the nature of the game. But now those dollar menu items are like $4 here now. McDoubles $4.
Yeah, even the value menus are like not even that much of a value.
There's no point. I mean, the whole purpose of fast food was like, I can get. I remember like back in high school, I could have like $5. I can get 3 burgers from McDonald's. It was like 2 McDoubles or junior chicken. Yeah. Now those safety burgers would be like $14.
Well, around here they passed a law saying that like all fast food workers need to make $20 an hour.
Yes, I don't know about that.
So I think that's
get the machines, get the AI machines.
Yeah, seriously, they're gonna.
Hey, I'll tell you this:
minimum wage themselves out of a job.
If AI machines can bring back $1.50, $2 burgers, I'm for it. Shout out to the workers, but now I'm for it.
And that's the thing. It's never the actual the number on the bill that you're spending. It's all about consumer purchasing power. Like I don't care if a loaf of bread costs $1 million if I'm making $5 million an hour.
I hear you. Yeah, 100%.
So what do you think about well, let's see a plane Qatar gave us a plane, or gave Trump a plane. Let's hear Trump's side.
What do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
It's
not?
only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they missed it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, some people may look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and did not receive anything?
It's not a gift to me. It's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
I will say this. If Joe Biden, Obama, or Hillary Clinton got a $400 million plane from, was it Saudi Arabia? What was the country we gave to them?
They never would, because nobody liked them.
Yeah, I'm going to say, they got a $400 million plane. You already know, front page, Fox News.
Well, I mean, with Biden, you wouldn't have to give him a plane.
No.
You just tell him you gave him a plane. And you're like, all right, I guess he
Hey, but you know what would happen? Fox News, all the right-wing political channels would go fire up right away. President takes a $400 million bribe from an adversary, or this, like, you know how that story goes. It would be.
I'm not entirely sure.
No, stop. No. You know exactly.
Kelly, you know, there's this little thing called the Statue of Liberty. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, it's an overrated statue, but okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. But you know where it came from. We didn't build that motherfucker.
Yeah, sure, right? Yeah. That's
France
true.
gave us that.
Yeah, I mean, look, get him a statue, but a plane that is clearly going to use after.
Plane is like a statue that's functional. It's a statue that can do something on top.
You don't get $400 million of anything unless you want something in return. It's some sort of deal, some sort of contract, whatever it is.
They do want something in return. They want good relations with the United States.
I
think I saw something. They just ordered 160 planes from Boeing.
Hey, if y'all want to give me a plane, I gotta go make friends with them, man. I gotta go make friends with them.
No, but to be real, you know, the first thing I thought when I heard about this plane from Qatar was
Qatar,
or is it Qatar? People pronounce it differently. It seems
Qatar
sounds more natural. Like
I call it
Qatar, whatever. The first thing I thought of when I heard about this plane was, you know, the old back in the day, a really nice horse was given to the kingdom of Troy. You know, the old Trojan horse. I was thinking, well, damn, what if they give us this $400 million plane? Trump hops in it and the whole plane blows up. You know?
That would be something. Yeah, that would be.
It's a Trojan horse. That would be embarrassing. I gotta say that would be extremely embarrassing. But even I mean, how would it seem? It seems like it would be really hard. Like you would have to take apart the whole plane to make sure it's not bugged. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure, you know, Secret Service scanned it all and did their X-ray vision, whatever they have.
I mean, they say scan it, but this isn't like Star Trek, you know.
I hear, yeah, you could. I'm sure they could figure out a way to hide something.
I don't think there's just like a scanning machine.
I don't think Qatar has a bad intention with this kids. Again, I think they're doing it for some sort of benefit or purpose. Maybe they get some sort of contract deal, whatever it is.
That would, if Qatar wants to get into the history books, give America a $400
plane,
dollar plane that fucking blows up with the president and the vice president.
It is uniting a lot of supporters of Trump and detractors from before are all kind of against it. I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of right-wing channels, whether it's Value Entertainment, Tim Pool's of the world, Shapiro's of the world, like they're all been going at him like, this is a bad look. This is not what you want. Even Charlie Kirk. Like,
but I mean, I think most people on the right, that's the farthest you go, is like, maybe it's a bad look. I'm not getting my panties in a bunch. The left is definitely going out, but I feel that's right now the left is just knee deep in a narrative. They're in the narrative to where like even like if time stopped right now, if Trump got booted from office and his whole administration was up to today, like so many people on the left are like, we're already. Well, even like our guy in the crowd, Double Tech said, we are in fascism. This is fascist. Like this is. You know, if Trump got booted tomorrow, it would be the equivalent of D-Day and liberating America from like the fascists.
Yeah, but it's the same way the right talked about Joe Biden when he was in office.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So when you're in that mentality, everything that comes up in the news is just adding on to. It's like, oh, so he got a plane. Like, of course.
Wait, we're not going to act like this is a small thing. This is a $400 million plane.
Small thing.
No, it's not. This is a $400 million plane.
Tiny
this
thing.
is crazy. It ain't nothing tiny.
Who does it hurt?
Hold on.
No, who does it hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt anybody in that sense.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no, that's the facts that it doesn't hurt anyone. Like you can play mind. You can be like, oh, they gave him this plane because it's going to lead to this and that, and you know, maybe you could have a discussion, but like that hasn't happened. So this is all projection and imagining like how evil this giving of the plane.
Yeah, you can say the optics are a lot worse than what it actually is. You know, the optics are just a lot worse than it actually is. I just want to keep the same energy. If a Democrat gets a $700 million plane next term, everybody keep the same energy. Whether you care about it or not, just keep it consistent. If you want to bash Trump for it, bash the next guy. If you want to be okay with it, be okay with the next guy.
Yeah, but it's not his plane.
Yeah, really. He can use it. He could use. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody else is going to use it after he's done. It might be his. It might turn into his personal plane when he's done to fly around. We'll see.
Well, even if it does, who cares? I don't care. I don't care. It seems seems fiddly.
It seems
fiddly, man.
If you keep it consistent, I don't mind. Like if it happens, another president gets a $400 or $500 million plane, you don't care. That's cool.
It's just like basically, I like to think in parameters, you know, like if you're talking about Sweden or something, go ahead and talk to me about like hundreds of thousands and millions. You know, when you're talking about the United States of America, if you're not talking in the trillions and the hundreds of billions, I don't care because like anything below that is like. So if
it's like a $3 billion plane, you got a problem.
3 billion. I mean, then we would kind of start to maybe. I mean, not even really, man. Like yeah, I'm worried about hundreds of billions and trillions when it comes to the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Oh yeah, I saw this. I thought this is kind of interesting. USA Canada.
In our meeting with the new and very talented Prime Minister of Canada, that we have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade, it's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country. And that'll take place sometime within the next few days.
Yeah, he really is a TV guy, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. He's so like for the TV, building up suspense.
It's so like you got to tune in next Thursday, man.
100%. Yeah, and it's funny. A lot of the right wing, YouTube, Twitter creators in Canada jumped on this and was like, "Alberta's the 51st state. It's happening. Trump is." I'm like, "Shut up, guys. Just shut up." I think it's probably just some maybe new trade.
What do you think
deal.
it is, though? What do you think it is?
It could be like it's literally going to be like a new trade deal. Or it's going to be like
you said it wasn't trade.
That's true. He said it wasn't trade. Maybe it'll be like some new military spend where Canada's going to up his military spend, or they're going to do something together. It's going to be something along those lines, not 51st state size of news. Like you said, Trump's for the TV. He likes to add a little sauce, add a little barbecue sauce to everything.
There's always a cliffhanger. He's real good. He's got to get the cliffhanger in to keep.
And I think it's important to note, like Trump and Carney have known each other for a while. I mean, we don't know.
Oh, sure, I could imagine.
Carney helped. I think it was Ivanka and Jared with one of these deals when he was at Brookfield. They helped him with the situation, got him out of it. So it's like,
I'm sure. I mean,
they're not strangers.
They've both been in high finance for decades.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sure, they've crossed paths plenty of times.
Yeah. So I think it'll probably just be something that benefits both countries. Yeah. I'm thinking military spending, something along those lines.
Yeah, and then I mean that was a few days ago, and nothing's happened yet, right? So like it's another one of those things he just threw out. And
Yeah, there you go. We'll see.
but where is how you guys liking your buy of Carney over there? I've been thinking more about it, man. I'm like, dude, bro, you people are fucking fickle, man. Like, how on earth are you like 30 points for the conservatives, and then like a month later you're it all shifts
again.
over?
It shows to me, it shows me how flawed Pierre was as a candidate, how he ran the campaign. The Trump Canadian pride took over with the Trump 51st state talk, even though Pierre was against it too. Somehow, the Democrats and Carney.
I mean, you say flawed, but I mean, wasn't he popular before Trump got? He was. I swear, I saw polls where it's like
you know what it was.
Popular.
He was popular because Trudeau was so unpopular.
Compared to Trudeau.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you have like a girl that's like you think is cute, and then you put her next to like an actual attractive girl, doesn't look as cute. Dude, you know what I mean?
I don't. So you think Carney is that like actually attractive girl?
No, again,
I just don't see that.
Carney in a lot of ways.
I feel like Carney was the luckiest guy.
Yeah, Carney in a lot of ways was like, imagine a young Joe Biden, like a safe pick. Not transformational, that thing, you know what I mean? But just like a politician, well-spoken, have the background.
Pierre seemed pretty safe, though. Like, what revolutionary thing was Pierre?
Yeah, you know what it is? And I'll be honest, I think Pierre took a lot of heat for, again, the rise of social media politics in Canada happened this election. Like, you've seen these channels just grow to like, 300-400K followers, which for a country of 40 million people, it's pretty big size. Like 400K talking Canadian politics is like the equivalent to 4 million in America. You know what I mean? So when you have these guys who come off as a lot more right-wing than even Pierre with the stuff they say, very, in some ways, very, what's the guy who claimed the Parkland school shooting was fake? What's that commentator again?
Alex Jones. Yeah.
Imagine like, we had some Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh types who really came about, and hearing them talk, and they'd be all over, like, anybody who followed politics, you would know they'd be on like TikTok, Twitter, every day, Instagram. They're so in your face. I think they got equated to Pierre, while Pierre never said any of those things.
No,
he never said anything crazy. Yeah, he was
like, honestly, from my perspective, Pierre seemed like one of the most milquetoast.
Yeah, it's very
politicians.
Like, 100%. Yeah, he didn't say anything too disrespectful. Like, he didn't really say anything that controversial. He really didn't say anything. Nothing quote unquote ultra right wing controversial, right? Like a Nick Fuentes or something. Not like the guy in Europe that we talk about. Yeah. So, but he somehow got wrapped up into these social media guys who were perpetrating different talking narratives and stuff along the lines of the grapist and things like Mexico that Trump was saying. They would kind of talk like that, which again, I think just rubbed a lot of Canadians the wrong way. And he took the fall for that, which again, not fair. But that's just kind of how it went politically.
Well, you reap what you sow. Congratulations, Canada.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Doing all right.
He signed a little tax cut. He signed a little tax cut today that's coming to effect July 1st.
Oh yeah, what, like, for what? On who?
Double income households. It's like families. Yeah, double income households. Nothing crazy. I think it's only 2%, 1% on those lines.
Well, I've been hearing for the last month from all the lefty news sources that I watched that we're in the midst of a depression-like crash. The market's crashed. It's never going to recover. And we just had the CPI come out report. So let's see what kind of numbers we got for April and May.
A little bit lighter than expected. So we came in at 0.2% month over month. The street was looking for 0.3. So that's actually better than what the street thought was going to happen here. 2.3% is the headline number year over year. The street's estimate was 2.4. Yeah. So again, that's a lighter number than expected. 0.2% core month over month. The estimate was 0.3. Again, better than expected. Core year over year came in at 2.8%. That was actually in line. We're coming in a little bit lighter than expected.
We're cruising. America is cruising. Inflation's down again for the third straight month. Lowest rate since in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market bounced back quick.
Mm.
Obviously, as it obviously was gonna do. I mean, it spiked like it had like a 2,000 point spike as soon as Trump got elected. You knew that was gonna.
People got to stop talking about the stock market like it's like the impact.
They
The
really
impact
do.
it has, yeah, the impact it has
insane.
on everyday people is so ridiculous. The only people who really care about that, again, if you work at a hedge fund, you know, you're
Like I said,
really
the only people actually hurt by
Yeah.
like a 10% dip in the stock market. The only would be like an 18-year-old kid who yesterday took every penny he had
yeah.
and put it in the stock market yesterday, and then it went down today.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not that guy,
Yeah.
then you didn't get crushed. You didn't get ruined in the stock market. Your 401k is fine if the stock market takes a dip. I'm sorry. Like it has taken plenty of dips before. It will take plenty of dips.
The reactionary element to it, you know, every day it goes up or down.
so
People
silly.
crisis. It's just so silly.
It's
People
so
need to
silly.
stop. And again, the effect it has on the everyday average American is so minimal. So minimal. Like it's
Absolutely.
I don't think people love to correlate. Like a company can still add 5,000-10,000 jobs when their stock price is down. Like they have different metrics. Their stock price
yeah,
is
of
one
course.
metric. Yeah, there's so many other metrics they use in terms of growth and how to
Dude,
kind of facilitate that. Stock price
your
is
stock
just
numbers
so,
go up and down every single day, and when that's why it's so disingenuous. That's why I kind of want to do a series where I'm going back and like retroactively some of these channels. Like I watch a lot of the Bulwark, and they piss me off so much because it's like they lie to their fan base in each episode. But it's like these lies, they're so bad and they're so obviously like just looking for something to criticize. It's like it's proven wrong 2 or 3 weeks later, you know? I mean, they'll come out and they're panicking about the price of eggs, and then 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, eggs are fine.
And that's not the grocery thing is weird too, because I hear some people say it's so expensive, some people not. I think that's so dependent again on maybe what state or city you're in. Also, like your where you are economically, right? Like I think if you're making $40,000 a year versus $150,000 a year, it's probably very different.
Well, that's why I mean grocery prices are definitely, you know, they're an indicator for mainly for the, you know, the poorest segment of
I said the lower middle class, lower class, 100%.
Yeah, lower class is when you're really looking at it. But I mean, it's an important indicator. I think it's important.
It is.
Know, during Biden, when the inflation went crazy, like seriously, over the course of a couple months, you saw the price of ham just like doubled. And I'm like, well, this sucks, man. It used to be $5 a pound, now it's $10 a pound.
Yeah, me and my friend, it's funny. We talked about it. Same with gas prices too. We're like, you know, we complain about gas prices, but like, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna stop pumping. Like, I don't care how high it gets. You got to get to work. You know what I mean? You have to do it. I'm not walking.
Yeah, that's why the price of those necessities are important.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so disingenuous that like, dude, the liberal media has been for the last 3 months. They've been reporting what they want reality to be. It's not
that's politics. It happens every time. Same with Biden. I've seen it every.
Yeah, but it's a pain in the ass when like everyone except for Fox News is all on this side of fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just used to. I just want to
and also like you say, that's the way it is, and that is the way it is now. But that's not the way it used to be, and that's why so many people are like really upset, man. In the 80s and 90s, it was not like this. I mean, everyone has some personal biases, but before that used to be the job of a journalist. That's why you fucking went to school for years and got your degree, is try to figure out how to check your own personal bias and be a journalist. There was supposed to be some distinction between being a journalist, and your main function was taking your personal bias and personal opinion
now everyone's just
out of the equation.
Everyone's just political commentators. Totally gone. I think news organizations are filled with political commentators now.
Everybody is a pundit.
Yeah, there's very few pundits. Very few Barbara Walters of the world in her prime.
No, and so the best that they can do is try to balance it out with, we'll have a pundit from both sides or something.
Yeah,
but in the end, that doesn't really fix the situation.
Yeah,
you see now you're just setting up a debate.
You see Fox News and CNN do that. They'll just bring a pundit from the other side, and they'll have one there. And it's funny. I don't know if you ever saw the video I saw it too, where like Fox News will purposely bring a liberal pundit who, if it's a girl, not as attractive as a Republican girl, or if it's a guy, they make him seem a little bit more.
But CNN and
CNN does
the same thing.
Exactly.
They always get like they usually get their whole scheme, they get a former Republican insider,
yeah.
and it's usually like some balding guy with a mole.
It's CNN uses the Canadian Kevin O'Leary. You watch CNN,
Yeah.
they use Kevin O'Leary as the conservative guy who's very Trump, but he's a bald Canadian.
Well, that
guy.
one shot, I think that's probably the best show on CNN right now. That debate panel with who's the Abby Phillips, I think is her name, the black woman.
A couple, yeah, names,
the one with Kevin Leary goes on it a lot,
yeah.
and then Scott Jennings. You see Scott Jennings. He's actually, they finally got a Republican with a backbone. And
he does.
I love watching that. He goes in there and just he's taking a broadsword.
I thought Mark Lamont Hill was always very intelligent, but he got kind of ousted after the
yeah, I'm not a big fan of
River.
Hill, man.
I mean, I guess it depends on the topic. I think he's very smart. Like you said, I think he's very smart.
Oh yeah, he's smart and diabolical, and that's why
maybe he knows
he's not honest. Now we talk about banding around like socialists,
Yeah,
I don't like just calling people communists and socialists just for the hell of it. But there is a good segment of the left that are actually like their intent is socialistic, but they hide their power when they're on.
I think democratic socialism, like Bernie Sanders, is perfectly fine. I think a perfect country is.
I think a fine line, Democrat, socialist.
Well,
like,
yeah,
right.
no, yeah.
Well, I'm a democratic fascist. Like,
well, it's like how we call it. Like Canada was always a mixed economy. We're a capitalist, socialist economy. I think it's perfect. I actually think a country. Actually, that's a perfect way to go. Maybe you could be a little more socialist, a little more, whichever one you want to lean more to. Well,
I will always say, like, I honestly believe if you unfold the history of the 20th century, a lot of the major countries have been on this kind of left-leaning mixed economy. We flirt with socialist thing, but I swear to God, I do not think any of that would have been possible without what you call the right-wing America. Without the influence of America being as right-wing as we were throughout the 20th century, I think all that, sitting in the cafe, smoking the cigarette, talking about the evil capitalist, I think that shit would have been done a long time.
I think America's, kind of ultra capitalistic way was phenomenal and the way to go up until I want to say the 2000s when companies got too big. When certain companies got a lot of power within government, the lobbying really increased, the money, the size of them. I think they became very powerful and they started, like you said,
monopolization, which is funny because this is all cyclical and it's things that you have to check along the way. Because 100 years ago, Teddy Roosevelt, his whole thing was the monopoly busting. That was at that point. It's like capitalism was doing its thing, and it's like, all right, do we have to put this in check? Do we have to bust the monopolies?
And when did the switch happen with now conservatives all?
But again, that's where I'll agree with people on the left, but agree in a way where I don't think they wouldn't say we're agreeing. But I would say one of the biggest things that I dislike about government is when corporation and government. I call it. I would call it like crony capitalism, which is fascism. I feel like people say we're in fascism right now. I feel like one of the biggest indicators of actual fascism is when the corporations and the government are in bed together, far too much.
Crony capitalism is what I think was it Anna from the Young Turks experience, and he was saying always got to bash on. They hate when the big corporations suddenly become buddy with leaders in government, and you see certain deals go down that may benefit the people up top versus the everyday citizen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for the most part, government should not be working for the benefit of
100%.
corporations. They should be regulating. I'm a small government guy. I believe in fairly minimal regulations, but I don't believe in no regulations. I'm not.
100%. You don't just want free for all, and a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Again, I think the lobbying thing in America. I think that's the thing America has done. Is where where most of their problems come from is the lobbying. I think lobbying in America is one of the most problematic. It goes both sides, like lobbyists on both sides, whether it's the pharmaceutical lobby, whether that's the military industrial complex, whatever the case is. The amount of money spent on those elections and the money that gets filtered to these candidates
Yeah.
It's just you don't give someone that much money for nothing.
Well,
Right?
of
It's
course not.
it's to obviously do something, keep whatever in place that you want.
Of
And I
course
think
not.
if you
And-
solve that problem, a lot of problems will be solved. Like the trickle down effect of that, a lot of the corruption would go away.
Yeah, no, and I mean, some people have tried to, but again, a lot of the people who try to do something about that, like they get painted as evil from both sides. Like Matt Gaetz, that was one of his big. People talk about how
Yeah.
horrible Matt Gaetz
Look, right?
is as a guy. I mean, Matt Gaetz was actually trying to achieve like a lot of good things. He wanted to get representatives to get out of the stock market. I'm down with that.
Mhm.
Matt Gaetz is actually like one of the very few politicians who did not take any PAC money.
Yep.
He never took any PAC money. He wanted to try to get money out of politics, and you know, I don't know everything about his personal life, but I know that like I actually agree with a lot of that stuff that seems kind of revolutionary and seems kind of like the establishment was totally against him.
We are not as divided as our politics suggest.
No,
Right. And I think people, I think the same way with Bernie too. I think his image of being a commie socialist like that, and him kind of
well,
proud.
no, he fucking is.
Yeah, I mean, he embraces the socialist aspect without a doubt. But I think
He
a lot of the
embraced fucking like he embraced back in the day. He embraced the USSR when we were in the middle of the Cold War. He embraced fucking Venezuela. He embraced bread lines. He had speeches about fucking that, like
Venezuela's
the
one.
benefits of bread lines.
Venezuela, that's a little crazy. I got look down.
Dude, I said it a couple of episodes
crazy.
back in the day. Bernie Sanders was the crazy fucking communist in the government.
He got a little bit
And
more
he
moderate now.
Yeah, and I don't think he did. I think the left just got more and more into collectivism. So like they caught up with the crazy old guy.
The Venezuela thing is something to look at. How that country choosing to keep their oil production within the country and not going private caused some, whether people say American intervention through the CIA to make certain products.
You don't think
America?
If you're gonna say who tanked Venezuela, America or Venezuela, who would you say?
I gotta do my research. I'm gonna do my research before I answer that question.
Well, I'm gonna say fucking Venezuela.
I'm gonna do my research. We can do some research on that. I gotta look more into it, but you read a lot of things.
They had like the Well, hey, speaking of another thing, from is Trump socialist? This isn't really socialist, but this is something I would think that the left would have applauded. I don't know who saw. Trump had a pretty big visit to Saudi Arabia, pretty big speech, a couple nights ago, and this segment, feel like it's not gotten as big publicity as it should have. This is Trump kind of like attacking the neocons and the world building, basically the Dick Cheneys of the world.
Nations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
I love that speech.
Well, I love that speech. I don't know how anybody except like Dick Cheney would not love that speech. Like if you're a Republican or a Democrat, I mean, I feel like that was straight talk, cutting to the heart of it. That like I have not heard from any modern president.
The closest thing, I mean, that speech is very. I think it was JFK who brought up the military-industrial complex. Was it him who said that in speech? Or Eisenhower? Sorry, Eisenhower. Yeah, along those lines. Look, I think the whole concept of nation building, I think it's just code word for the military-industrial complex for them to make more money, right? I think a lot of times America goes into these countries for other reasons, whether resources, they don't like the leader, what he's planning to do. Like
there is an auxiliary, philosophical spin to it, but just like practically, it's the military.
I think for the most part, most interventions in other countries, or when you go to another country, has been to benefit, a small group of people. I think who've made a lot of money from that. So again, what he said goes against all that. It's basically, it makes a good point too, right? Countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, countries in that realm of the Middle East, I mean, prospering. Like you got people moving there all the time. People love it, right? And even though they're a very, very religious Muslim nation, right, without a doubt.
And look, he came straight out and said it, like, look, I don't know how to build a fucking better Iraq. I've never lived in Iraq. I'm not a fucking
cultures, customs.
I'm not Islamic. I fucking, I've been to some Iraqi restaurants, but beyond that, like, I don't know what you people want. I don't know what's in your mind. I'm not going to come in from America and build a better Iraq. We proved that. We threw about as much money as you could possibly want at it.
Afghanistan,
Afghanistan, all these. Dude,
100%.
it's like it's a different world. The best we can do is try to fucking, try to be as friendly as possible, try to be as peaceful as possible. But you said something like a month ago that is always stuck in the back of my mind, where you were like, I was looking a little bit more into this whole like World War II Nazi fascism stuff, and it's not the same. Like this is. Yeah. This is not a speech you get from Hitler or Mussolini,
No.
This is
no.
So, I'm thinking over the course of the next 4 years, like, I think maybe, hopefully, a little bit less of the fucking rebelling against everything, because I feel like
it won't change though. It won't. The rebellion.
It might. I mean, not totally, but
it's just the messenger. People just have so much hate for it. Even if he says the right thing, it won't be. I think maybe
people would have said that. People would have said he never could have possibly been reelected. Before he was.
Sure. Yeah, I just don't think that the hate and attacks, and kind of the over hatred, you could say, of Trump will stop. Because again, I think for every time
not totally stop, but at least die down a little bit. It's not even the far left radicals. Like I know they're never going to change their tune, but it's just getting a nice
more people on the left center,
majority of the people in the middle, the left of center.
But for every good speech like it is like this, for every good executive order like he does that, he's going to say something stupid. He's going to say something ridiculous. It'll be so easy to jump on.
I just don't understand why. I mean, I guess it's just different personality types, I mean, I find most of that stuff charming, And it's just because
look at it.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm just, I'm an old
I don't take it serious.
I'm an old man. I was raised on like Ward Cleaver and like a lot of that. Like I like the madman. And plus, I was thinking about, I worked in commercial real estate for like a decade, and Trump just reminds me so much. Like this is this is how it is in commercial real estate. You know, it's like you go, you have the martini lunch, you know, you're working on all these big things, but it's like, it's bullshitting, you know, like I'm so used, I spent so much time sitting across the tables from either clients or sellers. And it's like, you know, you're bullshitting, you're having a drink, you're having a good time. Like you know that you're bullshitting and you know the other guy's bullshitting. And it like
that.
And you're kind of laughing at it because it's funny. And I think that's why a lot of people like when I hear Trump up there bullshitting, like my initial instinct is like to giggle and be like, oh, that's fucking funny. Yeah, you know, let's go fucking invade Canada. That'll be fucking.
Yeah, I don't take him that serious when he says stuff like that. I know.
But so many on the left, they take this shit like super serious, and they're like, "This is fascism. This is like look, Hitler would go
in their eyes. You know, it's not presidential, and I think that's fair too. If you have that stance, I don't think I'm serious because I think I've watched him long enough to understand that's just the Trump playbook. It's a Trump style, right? And you don't gotta like it. I think
it's the art of the deal, and like honestly, like I'm saying, it really is like kind of the art of the deal, just like bullshitting and weaving a narrative. You know, that's part of sales. You know, sales is convincing someone to do the thing that they really want to do, but they don't have the courage to pull the trigger on. You know, and that's like your job to kind of, you know, make it lighthearted. I don't know. Most of it's entertaining to me.
I hear you. I find it entertaining too, but it's just not for everyone, right? It's his person, his style of politics, characters is not for everyone. But
okay, well, I'm gonna. All right, so you got Trump style, and people don't like that. So it's like, do they like this style more? Do they? Here's the blue-haired lady with the sign. This is the you know, the illegal immigrants. They're being shuffled into this New Jersey detention center. They said 75% of them are felons for violent crimes.
But are they? See, now you're trying to paint this narrative of they want to, you know, she's doing this to felons, and she's, you know, obviously the idea is she feels bad for some of the illegal immigrants, whether it could be just the people coming here for a better life, the moms, the children, fathers who are hardworking. We're not going to just, you know, try to create this picture that she's somehow supporting, you know, gang members, you know.
But then, so why don't they get the fuck away from the gang member? What?
I mean,
all of the high profile.
You don't know who's in that.
The actual criminals.
You don't know who's in that.
The Abrego Garcia. This is a special. This is a special detention. Okay, so like they're only this is a special detention center. They say this is where the felons are. There's only a couple hundred. This is not some Auschwitz situation where it's some open camp with 10,000 people. You know, and they're eating gruel. They even showed the insides. Like, all right, that looks fine. That looks clean and fucking orderly. And they say this is the place where the vast majority of the people here are violent criminals. So it's Abrego Garcia is a violent criminal. The judge.
I'm sure some are violent criminals, but I can't. To me, based on the administration track record, I can't take their word for this is filled with 10 sexual assaulters or whatever the case is, right? I don't know if it's just regular people in there, whatever the case is. Do I think they deserve to get deported if they're not citizens? Yes, that's not what we're debating here. But I'm saying
the whole
this,
point.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying this tweet right here is to kind of paint this lady as showing, you know, love and care to someone who could do such crazy.
But it literally is.
I mean,
okay, what if it literally is?
Okay,
I'll grant you your side. Okay, what if it isn't? What if they're lying about who's in here? What if the person in that truck is? I mean, at the very least, the person in the truck there is an illegal immigrant at the very least. But let's just say that's their only crime on earth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one reason.
And yeah, she just
okay. But now let's flip it around. What if the person behind there is actually killed a kid?
Yeah, then that's messed up. Then that's messed up. But based on do I think out of all the illegal immigrants that came to the country, the percentage of people that have killed someone
is low. No,
yeah,
totally grant
low.
that. Yeah. And again, like I said, like I I want the right to get away from the criminal thing, because we just need to get back to the basics of the crime is being the illegal immigrant. That's the crime.
That's fine. Yeah,
all this other stuff is just, cherries on top. Yeah.
No, I hear you. I'm with you on that. Oh man, I got about 10 more minutes. What we got?
All righty. Well, what about I guess we're just kind of in a miscellaneous grab bag here. Well, you seen anything on the old David Hogg? David Hogg getting bounced.
Yeah, what was that? Like, is he getting voted out? Is he?
Yeah, well, I saw that. It looks like he is. Like, I guess the whole David Hogg saga. He's been coming out. He was elected as the vice chair for the DNC, and then the last month or so, he's been coming out saying he was going to primary Democrats that weren't progressive enough, which seems like a conflict of interest.
He's trying to go against the system. That's not what you do.
You're the vice president of the DNC. You say you're going to primary like 20 or 30 guys and spend like 20 or 30 million dollars on it. So that really,
I like it. Like, I agree with him. I think you should. I want to get these neocon Democrats out of here. And
if I were a Democrat, I could go along. I could maybe go along.
Yeah,
with that.
I actually think, I'm a fan of that, but I can understand why the machine, the Democratic Party, that screwed over Bernie in a lot of ways, wants to oust this guy after he says something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So he ruffled the feathers of the establishment, of all the people who gave Kamala $1 billion. They're upset, so they decided to oust him from his position. I think they're doing it on a technicality. They're saying that like the vote was I don't know if you remember, they had that whole weird like gender neutral vote or something. They're saying that something in the process of the vote was screwed up. So they're invalidating the vote. They're
the
saying
Democratic Party will do what they need to do to keep the establishment in power. That's the Democrats know how to do that. They've done that for the past little bit.
They absolutely will. I mean, the Democrat Party is like the new world order.
Yeah, but I think Trump was just good enough to get past that, because he was facing the same kind of challenge that the establishment Republicans didn't want him to get to that position. I think they did everything they could to try to stop him, but
absolutely,
he was just such a force that they couldn't. So in some ways, you could say progressives need a force like Trump that can get past the establishment's power. I
think they do, but I think it's hard because, like, on the left, you have, because Trump did it brazenly, right?
He did, but I also think the Democratic establishment is a little bit more calculated and intelligent than the Republican establishment. I think they understand how to nip it in the bud or just really push him away. While I don't think people took Trump serious, and I think the Republican establishment took him serious at first, and by the time they did, it was too late.
Maybe, yeah. But do you think? I mean, like you can't. You can't really have like Trump style on the left, can you? I think you can. Like I'm a leftist who can appreciate it. I'm a leftist who can appreciate it. You would need. You have so many unwritten rules on the left. So many demographics that you can't insult. Right? So many things that you can't say on the left. I feel like on the right. I mean, when you agree, like on the right, it's a little bit more freewheeling. You can just be like, you can be more of a straight shooter on the right. Where I feel like on the left, you have to kind of like tippy toe a little bit more, and like don't offend this person, don't offend that person. There's definitely an element on the left for sure. Now, what percentage of that element that that if you do offend, how much power they wield, it would be interesting to see. They would need, I think, for the left. Obama was that guy, but he turned out to be more established than the people thought. But you forget was his establishment. But when he came in 2008, though, he was supposed to be the guy to change government, right? That image. We really got to go retroactively watch. Yeah, I think you might be like this version of Obama that you've had. I remember. It's in a lot of ways. I've always kind of said this. I don't know if you agree, though.
Bernie Sanders is who Obama was supposed to be in a lot of ways, policy-wise.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
maybe I'm speaking for the millennial generation. They thought he would bring again. This
Maybe.
corrupt
I mean, I don't
government,
know what everybody. I mean,
the
what
neocon
everybody
war
thought. I
stuff.
think people probably thought. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think he would drop those bombs, the war
people
thing.
probably had some thoughts that they had, but
I mean, look, the
that
whole
was
change. We
not
can believe in
Obama.
change. Yes, we can. The whole concept of it was to
Yeah,
come into government and change everything, right?
You know, I even went back this week. I was watching some old Obama speeches. Just
brilliant.
We've been having this old Reagan versus Obama.
Yeah, I remember
So
his victory speech is cool. I still see his victory speech is cooking. It's cooking.
They're so paper thin. It's.
Oh no,
I think he really started this thing that the Democrats have kept up for the last 15 years, where it's like you just talk for like 3 or 4 minutes, but then if you, it's like, what the fuck did you say? I feel like Kamala Harris is the end result of the Obama way.
I'll give you this. There could be a speech where Obama just. I remember someone did this impersonation. I think he was spot on. Where it's, I want to find the video. Maybe I'll spend to it next week. Where he did say Obama just had this way of creating this picture image of beauty, inspiration, this and that, without maybe not saying anything.
Yeah.
And because he was so charming, the vocabulary, you can get away with it.
It's the ASMR politician. He's like he's the Bob Ross of politicians.
What are you gonna say? But when Kamala tries to do it, it doesn't hit the same. That's what
you can see that that's what she's trying to do.
Yeah, Democrat. That's
Kamala is definitely she's going up. She's trying to do the Obama thing. But I feel like thankfully
only Obama
she
could
came
do
along,
it.
and by doing it, she really exposed what the Obama thing is.
But no, this thing though, you can't. No, but I think Obama did have a lot of substance too. But they can't do what Obama did. They have to stop trying to speak like Obama or trying to campaign like Obama. That was again, and I think that's
a different time too.
It's a different time too, and I think it's the same way for. I think if people try to be like Trump, quote unquote wannabes, or trying to speak like him for the Republican side next, I don't think it will come off as authentic and as real as Trump. Right?
Yeah,
so
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see next election.
Like JD Vance can't beat Trump.
He can't be Trump. I don't think he tries. I actually think he's himself.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he's himself, which is good. But I think there's a few other guys I think who will try. I think you're going to see Ted Cruz run again, and he's going to try to beat Trump. And I think he's going to fail miserably again.
I think Ted Cruz's window is probably closed.
Is it close?
He didn't even win his last election by all that much. You know, Trump won Texas. Trump won Texas by a bigger margin than Ted Cruz won his race.
Ted Cruz is going to be a career run for president guy like a Biden, and he might get it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's gonna run, and I could see there'll be a year, maybe it's a week, or whatever the case is, and he gets a nomination, and we'll see how that pans out. It'll be interesting to see. But
I don't even mind Ted Cruz that much. I mean, I feel like I could see how people would think he comes off smarmy. He does have a smarmy look, you know. You just look at him, he's like,
the punchable face. He got the punchable
he's got a very punchable face. I can understand that. But like, what do you actually? I think he's a smart guy.
Who do you have? I wonder why people say Republican. They just assume JD Vance would be the next guy. Like Democrats have their issues of trying to figure out the next guy. Other than Vance, who would you?
Democrats have no idea.
Who do you think would be the guy?
Who do I think, or
without Vance?
Who do I want?
Who do you think? I thought Vivek would be one, but he kind of got himself in trouble with that tweet. He's been
and he's just kind of disappeared off the map.
That tweet, I remember that tweet really ruffled
feathers. Crazy. Like you know, we talked about that tweet. I was essentially on board with that tweet.
100%. That's right.
Not exactly the way I would frame it, but
I mean, it pissed off a lot.
It definitely didn't seem like a career destroying tweet to me.
Oh
like,
yeah,
for sure. You know,
what do you call it? The mega crowd didn't like it. They didn't like it, and I think Trump told him to step back, and then he took a step back.
I guess the candidates who's going to be on the stage for the Republicans, I'll say JD Vance. Other than that, I jumping up maybe like a Josh Hawley, maybe like a Josh Hawley would be an outside guy. I personally, you know, I'm the libertarian. I would love to see Rand Paul make another.
I wouldn't mind a Rand Paul
make another run at it.
He runs as the independent, no? Like would he run as the independent?
He's a Republican. I mean, he ran as a Republican last time, and you know he's in the Senate as a Republican now. Other than that, any of these women,
In the Senate?
maybe a black dude, maybe Tim Scott. I don't think. I would like. I really would love to see the first.
I was gonna say black Republican running.
Woman. Yeah,
woman.
either the first black Republican or the first woman president as a Republican. I'd love to see that. See how they spin that.
You can't really use a race card on Tim Scott when that comes.
They'll figure out a way. No, but they do. I mean, the left throws as soon as you become a conservative. You know, they're Uncle Tom.
Your uncle. Who's the Supreme Court justice? Clarence Thomas. Oh, you become a Clarence Thomas.
No, yeah, and like I'm a big Clarence Thomas fan. I'm like,
I think he's probably one of the worst judges. He's so inconsistent.
I think he's
so. At first, I was like, wait, I could respect.
Dude, if you read the actual decisions from these judges, the judges on the left, Sotomayor and Ketanji Jackson, good God, they have the most elementary.
You can say, but
it's ridiculous.
Sotomayor's consistent. You might not agree with the logic, but she's consistent.
Clarence
Thomas flip flops based on the president, based on whatever issue that they saw. He flip flops. He doesn't keep the same standard for each. He flip flops.
Sotomayor will come up with any excuse out of her ass.
But she's consistent. She's consistent.
She's consistently fucking willy-nilly pie in the sky, idealistic. I mean, she's full on. We were talking about the living document thing. She's full on. I mean,
her interpretation of it, without a doubt.
Yeah, the Constitution's absolutely whatever the fuck I want.
Clarence Thomas, he's supposed to be a constitutionalist, but he flip flops. So
he is for the most part. But if you look at his actual rulings, I mean, they're much more confined to the Constitution compared to Ketanji Jackson and Sotomayor. They are just. I mean,
again,
their decisions have absolutely nothing to do with the Constitution whatsoever.
Their interpretation.
It's their ideal, idealistic. Fuck it, Clarence Thomas in 2028. Let's. He'll be like 96 or something.
Yeah, he's probably gonna. Oh yeah, Supreme Court judge thing will come out. I'm assuming he'll retire within
over the next 4 years.
Sadly. He's going to retire to replace him with so Trump will have appointed. How much is he appointed now?
3? He's already appointed 3.
He'll be 4. So he'll have a generation where he appointed 4, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is absolutely. How did that happen? Oh my gosh, just unlucky.
Well, that's kind of that would be the benefit of being non-consecutive terms. It seems like that would kind of lend itself.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, you're right. That would. Yeah,
because in essence, you're covering like 12 years.
3 in 1 term is crazy though.
It is a lot, yeah.
Because I think Obama got 2 in his both terms put together, or did he get 3?
Yeah, 3 in 4 years is a lot for sure.
Yeah, 3
so
and 4 is
only 9.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Probably average out to like 1.5 per term.
How much did Obama get? 2 or 3? Obama got 2.
He got 2.
Republicans stole one from him. That last one, the Merrick Garland one, they stole that. That one was completely stolen. I know Mitch McConnell tried to spin it, but
hey man, the Republicans play hardball. Don't blame us for fucking. Going in there and I don't blame doing what you got to do.
He played by the rules and got it done what he needed to do.
It's not our fault the Democrats don't know how to fight.
I also think, hey, rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But you should have been smart. Like for the good of the country, I think you should have been smart enough to retire during Obama's reign.
And another
someone else come in.
Another horrible judge.
Another genius, a pioneer.
Good, because she's a fucking woman.
It's
like we were talking last week about Reagan versus Obama's speech, and you're like, well, Obama was black. Okay, so what? Like,
no, that's not. Hold on,
this makes it better.
Hold on, that
makes it better.
I'm saying that
that's essentially what you meant.
No. I'm saying how, again, his speech is on race. You could say definitely hit different because
in 2008, would have hit a lot more different if it was 50 years before.
Hey, 2008 was still a time. Prejudice was out here, man. Prejudice was out here. I do have to go now.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Another good one, Pyron. Another good one.
Yep, good one. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Check us out. Hope everyone has a good week. Oh shit. All right. See y'all.